Welcome to Studio Manager 360. Today I'm going to show you how to add a class to the system. I have a brand new install and I'm now ready to add my first class. So we'll start by clicking the Add Class button on the top right hand side. And I'm going to give the class a title. Now we're going to select the dance style. And I can add this directly from the drop down by clicking on Add Dance Style, typing in the style and adding it. And now that will populate the Dropbox. I can do the same for the class level. So let's call this one Beginner and add that. Now we'll select the class capacity. So this is the limit of the number of students that can actually take the class. And I can also put a waitlist limit on as well, to limit the number of students that can sign up for the waitlist if it's full. Now we're going to select the category. Now what this does is basically groups the classes together. If we come out of this, all the adults classes will be shown on the adults class tab, kids on the kids classes tab, and so on. And we can select that through this section. We also have another option, and that's these courses or terms. Basically, this links the classes together. So if you're having a 4-week course or a 6-week course, and the students are going to take every single class in that course, by setting it as a course, when you add the first student to the first class, it will populate every class in that course. If you add a student in the second week or the second class, it will populate every single class from the second one onwards, and so on. If you want to delete classes, if you delete a student from the first class of the course, it will delete them from every single class. If you delete a class from the second class or any other class, it will only delete them from that class itself. For today though, we're just going to select the normal adults class. We're also going to select recurring because we want to put a class in that's going to run every week for several weeks. And we're going to start this from June the 1st to the end of June for this demo. And we're going to run this class on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We'll select the time. So let's put that as 5 o'clock till 6 o'clock for 1 hour. Now, if you were putting in a class, or you were running a class 3 times a week, but they were at different times, so one was at 5 and one was at 6, then you would have to set them up separately. But right now, because all our classes are going to be at the same time, we can do it from this one class. Now we'll add the instructor. So again, we can click on Add Instructor. We'll give the instructor a name, an email address, and we can leave the phone number blank for the time being. Let's add that. Now we can select a pay scale. This is so we can manage our payroll within the system. Let's click on Add Pay Scale. We'll give it a title. And now we have two options. We can either set it up as a percentage or a rate depending on how you pay your instructors. If you're paying them a percentage split or a share of the revenue, then I would select the percentage. Otherwise, I would select the rate. We're going to pay 50 for this class, and we'll give a bonus of 5 per student. And we can also offset that. So if I decide that I'm going to pay them from the 3rd student onwards, then we'll put 3. So if 2 people show up to the class, the instructor will get 50. 3 students, they will get 55. 4 students, 60, and so on. I can also set up a minimum pay and a maximum pay. Both are optional, but right now we'll set up a max pay of 150. And we'll add the pay scale. We'll also select the studio. And finally, we have this show lesson settings. We can choose the booking cutoff. So for example, if you're using the front end where the students can book online, we can stop them booking so they can only book X number of hours before the class starts. And now we can add the class. Finally, we need to select how the students can pay for the class. So we need to make some packages. We'll make the first one. Give the title one ballet class. We can give the default expiry date, so we'll make that 1 day as it's only one class. We can change this on checkout. Now we have two options. We can either select a payment per class or payment per hour. If I select payment per class, if I have, let's say, 10 classes within this package, every time a student comes in and takes a class, one class will be taken off this total number. If I select payment per hour and give, let's say, 10 hours in the package, then every time a student comes in and takes a class, the length of the class will be taken off the total. So if it's a 1 hour class, 1 hour or 60 minutes will be taken off that total. If it's a 90-minute class or 1.5 hours, 1.5 will be taken off this total. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility depending on how you manage your packages. So right now we'll stick to 1 per class. We have a couple of other options here. Introductory offer, so if this is only available the first time they come in, a registration fee, and finally unlimited classes. If you have a package where students can take unlimited classes throughout a period of time, a week, a month, a year, you can add that time period here. And if you want to limit the number of classes that they can take during a week, we can do that here. And finally, we're going to add the payment option. This will then populate this list, and I can keep adding more packages. Let's say we want to add another one. We'll give this an expiry date of 1 month with a price of 200. Payment per class, and we're going to have this over 10 classes. Now, basically, the student can use either one of these two packages to pay for this class. And finally, we can click on the X, and then it's going to refresh and populate with the classes that you just added.